program in 2023. The soldier is engaged in training in first aid and evacuation of wounded from the battlefield, all-terrain vehicles, marksmanship, explosive threat detection and recognition, and urban warfare. The Unifier training exercise, coordinated by this Western Bloc, was launched around 2015 at the request of the Ukrainian state and army. April, March, and April of the year 2025, and the first months of this year, it was postponed until the order. At the beginning of the full-scale Russian invasion of Ukraine, the operation was suspended, and a commitment was made to resume training whenever and wherever conditions allowed. The Chief of the General Staff allocates $626 million of Canadian military assistance to Ukraine from February 2022, including M777 howitzer artillery with spare barrels and appropriate ammunition, as well as special drone cameras and armored combat support vehicles and related training equipment to be delivered or supplied. In total, since 2015, Canadian instructors have trained more than 33,000 servicemen of the armed forces of Ukraine. It is obvious that this UNIFER training is an important part of maintaining the short-term self-defense capabilities of the Ukrainian state. Building on the already close relationship between the Canadian Armed Forces and the Armed Forces of Ukraine, Canada is proud to work with like-minded countries, like the United Kingdom, to support educational needs. General Wayne Eyre, Chairman of the Joint Chiefs of Staff. The European Union's training mission to the Armed Forces of Ukraine has reached full operational readiness. This mission is expected to train 15,000 Ukrainian servicemen for 2 years. Will Ukraine join NATO? After Russia annexed 4 regions of Ukraine in September as part of its ongoing offensive against the Eastern European countries, Ukraine said it had signed an urgent application to join the North Atlantic Treaty Organization. Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky said in a speech on September 30th, "We are de facto allies." This has already been achieved, he said. Agreement of all members of the alliance, but it seems unlikely that on November 29th, Ukraine will quickly receive the necessary support to join NATO. After the first meeting of NATO foreign ministers in Bucharest, Romania, Stoltenberg said, "We recognize and respect Ukraine's aspirations for membership. But right now we are focused on providing emergency support as Ukraine defends itself against Russian aggression." Why can't Ukraine become a NATO member in the near future? He says that this war could escalate in 2 ways if the alliance of 28 European countries and 2 North American countries officially joins NATO during the ongoing occupation.
The fully electric Audi e-tron family is here, with models that fit any lifestyle, with elegant design and progressive technology. The Audi e-tron family, progress where you see.
Zyla is an associate professor at the University of International Development. He is an old fellow at the Defense College of Ottawa and NATO. Mendez is a lawyer, author, and law professor who advises governments, civil society groups, corporations, and the United Nations on international law, human rights, and global governance issues. NATO membership requires the obligation to comply with the articles of the NATO Treaty, including Article 5 Collective Defense, which outlines that an attack on one member is considered an attack against all members. After the terrorist attacks against the United States on September 11, 2001, NATO announced for the first time in its history the fifth. He brought the substance into play. Mendez told the newspaper in a telephone interview on Thursday 5 of the NATO agreement. Its article requires the entire NATO to protect it, said. This means that there will be a direct deconfliction between NATO and Russia, which could potentially turn into a nuclear conflict, he said. 5. When a NATO member was attacked. Although the clause does not automatically kick in, members must need to decide how to respond. Zyla acknowledged that if Ukraine were to become a NATO member in a war with Russia, NATO and its members would probably do so. He becomes directly involved in the conflict. For obvious reasons, they don't want to go to war with Russia, which could potentially lead to World War III, he said in a call to the news program on Thursday. Zyla and Mendez, NATO members after Ukraine officially recognized Ukraine 5. He argued that even if he decided not to commit to the clause, Russian President Vladimir Putin would probably see Ukraine's NATO membership as a provocation and escalate the war at any point. Mendez said there is a risk of starting a direct war crisis with the Russian state. Neither Ukraine nor the Ukrainian people would want this, no matter what, he said and added. The main reasons why you want to face such a crisis in the future are that it could lead to the coming World War. Mr. Orest Zekudowski is a member of the Ukrainian diaspora in Canada and a senior political advisor of the Ukrainian-Canadian Congress. He does not agree that all-out war is the inevitable consequence of Ukraine joining NATO. Firstly, the Ukrainian said that he did not want to drag the rest of NATO into a war with Russia based on the fifth article. Ukraine said it wants to join NATO because it doesn't want war after this, he told the Zoom news program on Friday. As for the risks that the infuriated Putin may decide to escalate the war, he believes that the probability is the same regardless of whether Ukraine joins NATO or not. I don't think that makes escalation any more likely than it is, he said. The facts are that the Russian state definitely has one or more nuclear weapons and bombs. If the Russians want to use nuclear weapons, they will, and it's theirs, not ours. According to NATO rules, new members can be admitted only if all existing members unanimously approve their membership. As happened this year in Sweden and Finland, any member can block the process if he wants. After Russia's total invasion of Ukraine in February, these countries applied for membership in NATO, but Turkey opposed it. Their membership has not yet been confirmed. Similarly, in 2008, German Chancellor Angela Merkel derailed the proposal to develop a membership plan that would allow Ukraine to join the alliance in 5 to 10 years. I think NATO's biggest mistake was not to allow Ukraine to enter in 2008 when it was trying to become a member, and Germany blocked it in the most violent way, Zekudowski said. She added, he said at the time that he believed we wouldn't be at war right now if NATO had taken over Ukraine. Although NATO members, including Canada, have expressed support for Ukraine's membership, Hungary has blocked NATO-Ukraine membership since 2018. Mendez said Hungary's relationship with Russia was probably a factor.